the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We need approval of the agenda.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Patron comments? No patron comments. We need approval of the consent agenda items.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right. We're on to recognition.
Said to remove that sports coat. It's just a little warm in here. I think I'm soaked through already, but it's a great way to start out a meeting, as you've heard me say the last 3 years, recognizing our student and student athletes, both inside and outside of the classroom. And Mr. Dreyer, as he graciously always does, is going to come help me. We're going to start out with some state science fair qualifiers and winners and go from there. So thanks, Mr. Dreyer.
All right, so first we had 4 Perryville High School students qualify for the first ever Show Me Science competition by placing at the top of their category at the SEMO Regional Science Fair. So first we would like to call up Miss Ashley Berkheimer. And Josie Robinson. So Ashley and Josie, their project together was on Lone Star ticks and the alpha-gal syndrome, and that took first place in their category at the regionals and to advance to the state competition, where they proudly represented Perryville High School. Next we have Chia Tiampong. And Chia placed second in her category at regionals and went on to win third place in behavioral science at the state competition. And then last, and I did not see her, Miss Emma Federhoff. She is not here with us tonight, so she also, I'll just go ahead and read about Emma real quick. Emma earned top honors in her category and was selected as the best overall project at the SEMO Regional Fair. She earned the Science Coach Overall Best Researcher Award, Cape Girardeau Area Engineers Club Award, Office of Naval Research Award, Regeneron Biomedical Science Award, and the Dr. E. Lawrence Bond Memorial Fund Award. Emma's achievements at regionals not only earned her a trip to the state competition, where she won second place in chemistry and biochemistry, but she also earned an all-expenses paid trip to compete in the Regeneron International Science and Engineering Fair, which was held last month in Phoenix. So we're proud of these 4 students, and we're going to get some pictures taken here, I believe. Next we have Derek Martin. All right, so Derek, we're recognizing Derek this evening because he was a state qualifier for the golf team. This was actually the second year in a row where Derek qualified for the state tournament. This year it was played up at Columbia. And Derek, in his 3 rounds, so state golf is a 2-day competition. He's battled weather both years, because last year we had a lot of rain. This year, the first day of the state competition actually got rained out. So his 3 rounds the last 2 years at the state competition has been a 79, an 81, and an 82. So And last year, we were Class 3. This year, he was up at the Class 4 level, still qualified for state. So quite an accomplishment for a golfer. Going back a long time, we have not had a golfer go back-to-back years to the state competition. We've had one go 1 year, skip a year, and then go the next, but not back-to-back. So Derek's junior and senior year, he represented Perryville High School well. Also this year, he earned a spot on the JCAA All-Conference team. It's Derek Martin. Next, I do not see this athlete with us. We have a track state qualifier, which was Xavier Wilson. He qualified for the state competition this year in long jump. He was also on the all-district team and a sectional qualifier. Then he also received second team all-conference in 2 different events, which was long jump and triple jump. So Xavier Wilson. Yeah, you're right. All right. Next, we have going on with track. We would like to recognize a group of students who made the academic all-state team for track. So I'm going to call their names up, and we'll talk a little bit about it. First, Lucas Buckeye. Next, Jacob Gaiman. Micah Brown. I did not see Destin Morgan. Okay, Paula Sticht. And I did not see Kagan Stell. Okay, so these athletes from the track team earned academic all-state. To meet those qualifications, the athlete must have competed in an official MSHSAA State Series meet, which is district sectionals or state. They must have had a minimum cumulative GPA of 3.6, an ACT score of 25 or higher, or SAT of 1150 or higher, and the athlete must be nominated by their head coach. It must be a member of the coaching association. So they had to meet 3 of 4 of those criteria. So these are our track athletes that did that. So congratulations. If any parents want a picture, you're more than welcome to come up. 1, 2, 3. And 1, 2, 3. Next, we have a group of baseball players who made the academic all-state team as well. So I'm going to call them up. I want to see a couple of them, I believe. So Nolan Burley. Blaine Gamnitz. I believe that's all the baseball players I see. The other baseball players that made that team was Gavin Mayer, Jack Doherty, Waylon Huber, Parker Shelton, Bryce Weber, Barrett Wheeler, and Gideon Steve. To make qualifications for baseball academic all-state team, the player must be on the varsity roster. They must have a minimum GPA of 3.5. Player must meet at least one of the following requirements below. An ACT score of at least 24 or above. They must be top 25 in their class and have attendance of 95% or higher. And then the head coach must be a member of the coaching association and be nominated by that coach. So these are our baseball athletes, a couple of them that made the baseball academic all-state team.
Next up, I'm gonna schedule a roll call vote for a closed session to discuss legal, student, and personnel matters as permitted by revised Missouri statute 610.21, section 1, 3, 6, 13, and 14 at the conclusion of open session.
Second.
Caleb,
Aye.
Terry, Kevin,
Aye.
Dan,
Aye.
Nancy,
Aye.
Dominic.
Aye. Next up is the breakfast and lunch prices for the 26-27 school year.
So we utilize a DESI calculator to determine the minimum amount that the schools must charge each school year for the meals. This must be approved by the board annually. School districts are required to provide sufficient funds from the paid student lunch accounts to prevent the district from subsidizing paid lunches through the free and reduced lunch program. And so we are recommending the board adopt the minimum 10-cent increase in lunch prices for the 26-27 school year as recommended by DESI. And also the same for the breakfast prices.
Breakfast appeared to say the same. Okay.
So we are gonna move breakfast up?
No, sorry, breakfast would stay the
Breakfast
same.
appeared to be
Okay.
the same.
So if the motion could be as presented.
I make a motion to approve the breakfast and lunch prices for the 26-26 school year as presented.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Gene's proposal.
God bless Mrs. Robinson. She's the only one that made it this evening on behalf of the committee, so I'm glad to join her here.
Yeah. So the last time we met, you guys had asked for a written kind of just guideline of what staff should follow as far as wearing jeans. So we included all the details there, and then put dates that staff needs to have professional dress, the back to school conferences, professional development days, and that will be kind of determined by those dates that will be determined by the administrators in their buildings. If there's a certain day that we have guests coming in, they can use their discretion to let all their staff know that it'll be a professional dress day. So I didn't know if you guys had any questions about any of the guidelines that we proposed, or
So we actually included that in your board packet. That'll be out Friday, as you requested. And my involvement is, one of my duties is to do the employee handbook, so they asked me to join them in preparing that. We've checked with various schools and kind of formulated that or based that around their recommendations. And then obviously the last part there, we have administrators in the room, their discretion as far as the dress code, what's appropriate, what's not. So.
Questions or discussion?
It's a good job putting detail to it.
yeah, thank you.
So this is just an amendment to the handbook that we would approve later, right?
I would think.
Policy is okay.
Yeah.
Mr. Curry, there's actually a section about dress code and for employees. It would be simply added to that section in employee handbook.
Perfect.
So,
But we don't go back and review that employee handbook before it's given out, I don't believe. I don't recall doing that.
Salary schedules and
I
all
thought
that.
we had to approve that handbook.
We actually have the district handbook.
The
and
district
that's-
handbook that
yes,
we approved,
district
yeah.
that we
Okay.
approved, so.
Sorry, slipped my mind.
Lots of handbooks.
Yeah.
But we would approve this as a condition.
So do we need to take action on this to approve that this be added to the current handbook?
I would think so, but
Yeah.
I believe that's what.
Make a motion to approve the Gene's proposal be added to the district handbook.
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes.
All right, thank you guys so much, I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
We'll have some happy staff members, so we appreciate your support.
Okay, the policy 2026A updates. I know there were some concerns.
The ones that I had sent out to you.
Yeah, and I read through it.
It concerned 3 policies, AF, BBA, and BF. AF is one that would be taken away, rescinded completely, and added to the new BBA. I felt like the old 2 were a lot clearer on what was being, on the duties, responsibilities of board members. The new one just does not get specific enough in my way of thinking. Nancy, you asked a question in a text, why are they even going through this?
Yeah.
I've seen over the years with just a number of cases, and I tend to not say anything because I know even though policy is one of our important things, it's also as much fun as going to the dentist, and we tend to jump through it as fast as we can. There's been other situations where I see MSBA basically take responsibilities away from the board and, if anything, assign them to the superintendent, or simply just not even mention it in the new version. This one was bad enough, I thought I had to speak up.
But just from, and I think this is something that MSBA is doing all the way across the board, because I've been listening to those noon webinars, and last week I believe I had one on meeting policy 2, and there's a lot of things that they want changed, like in the meeting as well. They're just kind of working through some of those things right now, but
Well, yeah, and nearly encouraging online attendance by board members. I know we've done it. If you can see the person, they can vote, but it was nearly an encouragement, I felt like, to do that, which is just not the same.
yeah.
Have you taken your training yet?
I did the online one last weekend,
Okay.
or Friday, Saturday.
They don't spend much time training you on working together with your fellow board members. There's a lot of, oh yes, all the rosy stuff, but the really working together and what to do in difficult situations, they don't
Not
touch
really,
it.
yeah.
Yeah. BBA, well, I marked them for you.
Yeah.
I'm sure you saw the last one, the one that's marked judicial. You don't see much about that at all in the new version. The board, in one of them, the board's responsible for the annual budget. That's the bottom one on the first page. You don't even see the word budget in the new version.
I noticed that too.
Yeah, I mean,
Almost as if you took that policy, you wouldn't have to have a budget meeting.
Yeah.
right.
Not that, you know, I'm saying that humorously, not that you shouldn't have a budget meeting.
The county elects the board to manage the school because there's no way that thousands of people in the community can do that. I just see some of these policies gradually taking that away. If you're taking away from the board, you're taking away from the community. I think this is. If this is concerning, I would be glad to pay close attention in the future and
When I,
bring up small items that.
when I read your concerns, I did see them, and the budget piece was pretty obvious to me too. Should we reach out to MSBA with our concerns, and or do we just leave this policy out? I'm concerned that if we don't update to their policies, how that affects the rest of us. I mean,
How that affects, the other policies?
yeah, the other policies in the board, if we just say, we're not gonna follow your guidance, we're gonna go our own way, I don't know how that, any overall affects it.
Well, keeping AF and DBA as they are, they were going to roll that into one. Otherwise, the policies affect different aspects. So I don't know how keeping this one could possibly,
Sure.
roll over into the next one or some other area. Because they tell us which ones they're combining, which ones
Yeah.
making sense.
So I go next week on Tuesday, I believe. Julie, Tuesday, right? Yes. To a work session on Tuesday, so I can take these along and bring that up and see if we can get some answers.
Okay.
The other
Now,
one,
why are they changing it if there's nothing legal? If there hasn't been a change in laws, why is this being changed? I mean, I don't understand it either.
Yeah, I can, like I said, I can bring that up next week. So I'm there on Tuesday.
Is it a set fee that they charge annually? I mean, it doesn't matter, monthly. Is it just a set fee that we
Included in the
pay?
full membership.
Okay.
You
I sometimes wonder if
Be
they
a member
charge
of-
by the sheet, because when you have, we see it all the time, they take one word and move it, switch two of them around. It makes absolutely no difference which way you say it, but
The district is a member of MSBA and also MARE, and so MARE also endorses the MCE policies, which I think you all have had years ago. So this isn't the only policy service.
okay.
There's other
That's what we had before? is MRE?
MCE, and now you have MSBA.
But-
So a district can
Right.
choose to go with different policy providers. MSBA is one of those, and that's part of your membership.
Okay, so it is, so MSBA doesn't service the, what you call MRE?
The MCE policies, no. Mayor does theirs, MARE. All the acronyms are awful.
I know when we had them, they were not updated.
Okay.
They just weren't. When we went with MSBA, well, we got continual updates. I mean, as far as the keeping up with all the legal
statutes,
changes.
legals.
Right, I mean, that part's great. We did not have that before. seems like they get carried away sometimes.
The other one you had a question on, I think, was BF, if I recall.
Yes. Okay, it's there too, it's one of those where I feel like they put more in the hands of the superintendent rather than the board. In the new one, the superintendent can bring it to attention where policy guidance is needed. Well, isn't that up to the superintendent? And I'm not picking on any particular superintendent. I'm simply looking at this from a board standpoint. Whereas the old one, when there was an emergency decision, it was subject to review by the board at the next meeting. It was just clearly stated what the sequence of events would be. It's just clear. The rest of that policy, I mean, it was just that.
About one sentence.
Oh, I'm sorry. And also on page 15, there was also, I felt like they did a lot of changing in that paragraph unnecessarily. That was just a matter of a number of school board members that could make a policy change. In other words, instead of requiring a policy to be changed at a meeting when there was basically full attendance, it was, well, if there's 4 people there, well, you've got a quorum, you can have a meeting, and then it takes half of those, so you're down to 2 people changing policy. I thought that was rather odd. It's according to the handbook, that's our important, that's what we do.
Right.
Should half of a quorum be allowed to change policy?
You want to seek some guidance on that?
I will.
And then we can put the package on next month's consent agenda.
And I can
And we can
include my
remove,
update then.
we can remove AF, BBA, and BBF, or BF, if we opt to leave those the same.
And we could approve the rest of the list
We could.
and have that out of the way.
Yeah. Since it's in that whole package, I didn't know if it would be easier to wait, or if you just want to do the rest. It's easier for you.
You can do either way.
So if we went with that package, we would make a motion to accept policy 2026A updates, except for B, C, and H. Does that make sense?
Yes.
C or H.
Yes.
Or to make them.
Do you want to say policy AF,
To make a positive
policy
motion.
BBA, and then policy BF?
Accept the
Yes.
letters
Excluding those.
I mean, we could read through them, or Julie can jot them down just as quick.
She's typing over
I should have said
So there's
jot,
3 of
yeah.
them?
here. Yes,
AF, BBA, and BF
correct.
are the ones that you're accepting out of that, okay?
Yeah. Removed.
clear.
I got it.
So you wanna make a motion on that?
I'll make a motion to accept the 8 policies on the list. Better.
Except for AF, BBA,
Except-
and BF.
And be, okay, I don't know how you wanted to
Second.
print it in your motion, so.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right. And we will revisit those other 3 next week after we see guidance. So we are to the interim pre-engineered metal building testing bid. I assume this is a typo in there?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Yes. I'll get you, this has to be signed, so I'll get you the correct version.
Okay. Well, I read it
It's
like
partially
three,
right.
I read it like 3 times trying to figure this out, and I'm like, I don't know, it's gotta be a typo.
Yes. But what this is the testing special inspections for the first 2 phases of this project, which is more or less concrete testing and soil compaction. And the proposal from Holcomb Engineering, who also did the geotech report, and we found that their pricing is fair and reasonable. But also it's always a really good idea to have the testing company be the same as your geotech in the event that there is a discrepancy, because the geotech usually outlines some recommendations. So to have the boots on the ground for those testing issues, they're gonna follow their own guidelines and recommendations. So we're looking to get started with this work pretty soon, so we wanted to go ahead and get them on board. It's basically a will call service. This is estimated based off of how many trips we think that they're gonna have to make. And this is one of those soft costs that we've talked about.
Questions or concerns about this?
Make a motion to approve Holcomb's testing bid for the amount presented.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, we can move on with that. The fuel and diesel bids. This one was confusing to me because they didn't bid it the same way.
That is correct.
I'm glad you agree.
If it's up to me, I just stay with who we have, their service is dependable, and their fuel has been anywhere from, or the gas, anywhere from $2.60 to about $2.90 a gallon, and the fuel's been over $3 one time in the 8 months I've been here. And their service, if we run out of fuel, we call them, they bring us fuel, I mean, it's pretty quick, pretty done deal. But that is very confusing what they say.
I was hoping you had an explanation because it's confusing to me.
No, but that price will change as soon as the new contract.
Probably so. I mean, but they're just shooting 20 cents above what they pay is what they're giving us with the MFA here in Perryville. The way I understood it.
MFA is actually listed at 8 cents below pump price, or the truck prices are different.
Yeah, truck prices are different. Well, we only use the pump up here in town once in a great while.
So the truck price is what's really important.
Yeah.
The truck price at $3.29 on $3.98 on diesel.
Did you ask them any questions to try to clarify between the two?
Sarah did, but she is indisposed at the time. I mean, she called him and talked to him, and one of them we couldn't ever get a hold of that one, the guy out of, not the MFA out of Jackson, but there was another one, I don't remember his name. We never could get a hold of him, but Sarah got a hold of him, but I do not know what was said.
I didn't understand the figures.
Well,
I didn't understand the chart.
It was,
I took it we had two bids,
well, I think that's what we had.
but what's printed there, which company is it for? Or, I didn't,
The co-op?
I think the co-op is 20 cents over cost. And
right, but the
And-
information in each column.
MFA is $3.29 and $3.98.
It's a year,
It's a year
year
contract.
contract.
I'm certain. I don't recall doing it more than once a year.
So you're locked in at the 329 for the whole year?
I think so.
Why wouldn't you go over cost? Because it's gonna drop, no fluctuate.
Yeah. Like I said, if they were bid the same way, it would be a lot less confusing to make this decision. But I don't,
Well, is,
at $3.29, I don't know what cost is, so I don't, you know what I'm saying?
is the 329 a current example of what 20 cents over cost is? Just throwing that out there. Used to, all our bids were, if I remember right, were for a year. It was
20 cents is
it
co-op.
was a price for the year. But I don't think, that's been a while back.
Yeah,
It has-
I mean, I
it has
understand market
changed.
fluctuation, especially in that market, but
What we-
The 20 cents is co-op, the 329 is again the fed.
that's the way it reads to me, Terry.
Yeah,
Okay,
I assume that's what it means, there are two columns.
That's the way it reads to me.
Co-op will give it to you for 20 over cost, then the phase 329 again. For gas.
But we truthfully don't know what cost is, so we don't know how that matches. Does that make sense? That's the way I look at
You
it.
have to trust them that they're,
Well,
that's
They
it.
just put a hard cost on the unleaded gas and the diesel fuel,
From the truck.
but the other ones are based on pump price.
right, so MFA's has varied through the year, this past year.
I wouldn't know without pulling bills and looking at them. That's who
I'm sure
we've
they have.
contracted with this year.
This is something that we need to have in place before next month.
The board could table the decision and we could seek clarification. It's possible that we'll have another meeting before the end of the month. We have a budget meeting, and so we could add this to that agenda if you all would like more clarification. We could reach back out to both of them and make sure. I'd have to look at the bid document, but typically they fill in the blanks.
You have it from me. Does that make it any more clear?
I did the best I could putting it on the
Okay,
chart.
thank you. Yeah, I'm fine with trying to get a little better information, trying to make a good, smart decision.
Make a motion, we table the fuel and diesel bids.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, AMI plan for 26-27 school year.
So So our alternative methods of instruction plan, we must adopt annually every year by the board, and then it is submitted to DESE. This would be what we would go to if we were not able to be in person in school. All districts have an AMI plan. Our hope is that we don't have to use it.
We work very hard not to.
But we need to have a plan in case we need it.
Make a motion to approve the AMI plan for the 26-27 school year as presented.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right. We are to kick-up data.
Okay, we provided in your board packet also on Friday, and I did not see a hyperlink up there for some reason, so that it had there, got some information there. And there was a request on that. We've got some administrators in the attendance today. We had a meeting last week, and I've got Mr. Tucker over there who's done a great job of with the kick-up. We've been very satisfied. I think I can speak on behalf of the administrators with the easy access. It's been a good program for us for teacher evaluations. We concentrate on a couple areas such as depth of knowledge and student engagement, and then also we've kind of presented some information to you there that you had a chance to review. So if there's any questions, but our administrators, I think I can speak on behalf of them. It's been a very good program for the last 2 to 3 years, and I've been very satisfied. They actually reach out to Mr. Tucker and I every year to say, hey, is there something we can do better? So in other words, we've got the old customer service, for a better term, from the teacher evaluation system. We've been very pleased with that. So.
So is 3.0, is that the highest?
Well, on the one it is. That's kind of confusing because the other
Yeah,
one
it
is
is.
4.0.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
So yeah, for the teacher, it's 3.0, but
Okay.
on the student, or excuse me, the observation, it's actually 4.0. So,
Okay.
yes, ma'am.
I'm glad to know that it's easy to use, because we definitely wanted something that would be easy to evaluate our teachers. I'm glad to see these results here. They look pretty good. I mean, from what I'm seeing here. I'm the one that asked for this, I'll just tell you. I think it's important that if our staff comes to us and asks for a program and we purchase that program for our staff, I think it's important for us then as a board to turn around and evaluate how that program's working, because it's kind of one of those things that you can get 7 or 8 things evaluating things, or 7 or 8 kind of data, and then you just never know how they're working, and you just keep piling on that. So I'm glad we found something that works and is easy to do and is a way to help our teachers grow and manage their classroom. So I appreciate this. Thanks very much.
Any more questions or comments on the kick-up data? Okay, we have a grant update from Liz House.
Hello. So I just wanted to come and give a quick update on what we've been doing as far as grants. And I guess does Julie have the, you can go to the next one. So just a little bit about me, for those of you who don't know me. I know some of you do. So I started part-time with the district here about the middle of December, and really started getting into the role in January. Prior to this, I did have 10 years of experience working on grants, either application or actually doing the work in the grants, specifically in local governmental organizations.
health department, where I was at before. And then I also just wanted to include some fun things about me. I do have a daughter in the district, and am a part of the Parent Anchor Initiative for the district as well. So, and then the next one, Julie. So just a couple of our just monetary successes to date. So we have secured $5,000 in STEM funding for the primary and elementary school. That funding was used for the STEM museum that came to Camp Curiosity, but the remainder of the funds are actually going to be used to purchase manipulatives and equipment for STEM classes in the primary and elementary for next school year. They're looking at construction materials, they're looking at 3D printers, different things like that. We also secured, with the help of Stacy, $1,500 for two-way translation devices that will help district staff communicate with our non-English speaking families. So that was just recently awarded. We also identified in all of the conversations I had with lots of district staff, historically there have been here and there some missed opportunities to include some staff time and indirect in funding applications. So we're using applications for a lot of supplies, equipment, but a lot of times staff are also implementing programs around that. So we're starting to include time for staff to actually do that, since it is above and beyond what they may be doing as a part of their regular role. And then also indirect, which is a 15% administrative fee that you can build into the application on top of supplies and things. Some other categories that helps pay for, obviously, a program where supplies are going to be in a classroom or somewhere, so to help pay for lights, to help pay for part of my time, for reporting, different things like that. And then to date, we have submitted for $44,000 in funds. A lot of those were around some FEMA requests for separate from the different buildings and things like that, but they didn't qualify, so those were not approved. And then I also included a fund like return on investment for you all, just so that you can see. So for every dollar that the district has spent on my position so far, I've been able to bring in $1.57 an actual monetary value for the district. I did put a plus there because we've gotten some like free resources and stuff as well. So, Julie, can you move the next one? So just some additional things that we've been working on. So we've been exploring and trying to find some additional funding for tornado recovery efforts, focusing on some opportunities that can also be used as the 25% match for the district. We're working closely with the SEMO Regional Planning Commission right now on some things. So nothing has come up yet that we've officially received, but still looking for that as well. I've been able to talk to all of the building admin across the district and really identify what they need on a building level specifically. I'm keeping kind of a repository of all of the things that they need, so as I find different things or have an opportunity to search, I have that list that I can look back to. We've also secured some free resources and potentially some free equipment to implement Senate Bill 68, which is around cardiac emergency response plans. A part of that requires some stop the bleed training for district staff, and so instead of the district purchasing that equipment, have partnered with the health department who has that equipment on hand and is willing to let the district use that for those trainings rather than the district pay for them themselves. We've also worked with Department of Health and Senior Services through one of their programs to borrow some playground stencils that will be able to be used to paint some fun stuff, including a pirate ship, which I think is adorable, on the playground, the bus parking lot, things like that, so that students can have more places to play. And then we've also gotten some donated nursing supplies as well. Next. Oh, I think you missed one. Sorry. Yep. So just looking ahead, kind of what we're doing. Right now we have about $13,000 in outstanding funding requests we're waiting to hear back on. We're going to continue looking for some funding to help with tornado recovery. We're looking into some options for some local funding opportunities as well to see if there are other opportunities locally. And then, of course, just continue to support the district and district staff to grow their skills in this area if they're interested, and then also just address any current or emerging needs that they have. So, any questions? Okay.
I don't.
Sounds good. My email's on the first slide. If you guys ever have any questions, feel free to reach out. So,
Good job, keep up the
Thank
good
you.
work.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, storm recovery, staff is here.
Yeah, thank you, appreciate it. Gonna hand out a few documents to you all. As you know, just in past meetings, this is kind of the diagram for the high school building, very high level. But these are the way we've kind of tried to identify different areas of the high school building. So when we're talking to FEMA, doing all of our assessments on the cost, so when we say area F, you can kind of see where that is. That's the band choir area with the dining underneath of that. That G building, that's in that blue right in that corner, we've referred to that as that knuckle building many times. So this is just really a guide for you. I'm not really asking you to look at any of the rest of it. It kind of grew out of some really early assessments of some damaged things, but this would be a helpful diagram, especially when we talk about area F, essentially. And then, just real quick, we are continuing to work on the other side of the FEMA equation. We went through the 50% rule on the high school proper part. But there's other FEMA damages and things. Cat E other is actually the name of it. So we went through that similar exercise, a little bit dialed back from the high school. It was a little bit smaller effort, but still pretty involved. We sent all this information to CJ's team. This has been uploaded to FEMA. Essentially, they're going to replace their DDD report with this document. So just like they did on high school, so that they get a really good snapshot of those damages. But either way, this is done. This is in FEMA's hands now. So hopefully in the next, I don't know, week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, I don't know what their timeline is. They can get around maybe approving this stuff. This list right here, again, it's just trying to identify the magnitude of various damages. And then they pay, FEMA reimburses for monies that are spent. Ultimately, that's the value that they give you. So it's going to be dependent. So these are really trying to just establish baselines. So this list right here runs up to about just a little under $8 million, just FYI. So.
And is that on projects? Some of them projects have already been completed.
That's correct. A lot of those have been completed already. So as soon as that can get approved, then that should cut that loose. You all can upload invoices that you paid already, and then those dollars can start coming back to you. So yes. So this sheet, it's kind of want to get through the numbers part of this first. So, and it is up on the screen there. This is the overall budget, but it's probable budget, so it tries to identify the hard costs and soft costs. We kind of talked about those things over the last months. But this is only focused really on the high school component of the project. So it is updated, so if we look up there at the top in that category A, this is really about the construction side of it. And you'll see in there a new high school component, and we've got a total of $146,000 with this. Okay, so there's been some movement with weight room, for example. So we have a weight room. The weight rooms, they've been floating around in different locations. We feel strongly that the weight room really does need to be part of this, so that there's no question with it with FEMA when it comes time for them to pay you guys back, because they've already approved the 50% rule. Now we don't worry about those numbers. They start making reimbursements based on these numbers, because these are the actual costs. These costs are based on what we're going to be designing and what's going to get bid. These will be modern standards and codes. All that other activity we did with FEMA didn't include standards and codes or any of that. That was just their system we had to follow. So when you look at this, we've got about 134,000 square foot of new construction. We do have the area F. It is renovation cost. We got some renovation costs in there, 12,704 square feet. And then the demolition for various parts of the buildings, which in this case is going to include all of the parts of the buildings except that area F. That is an area, because of the impact on the dining area on the lower level, the condition of that building, and we have a plan in our original designs on how to repurpose that and turn that into art spaces. So we really think there's still some value in keeping that piece. There's a lot of otherwise gymnastics to go through to try to take that out of service, rebuild it, and find spaces to accommodate it. So that's a renovation cost. Demo is included in it, but you can see at the top.
What part were you referring to?
Area F. On that first diagram, that's right down here. It's got band and choir rooms up on the upper portion of that, and then below that the senior high dining area. So it's kind of oriented. And the kitchen is part of that. We know there'll be some renovations to the kitchen, like dish machine, ventilation, those types of things. But those areas we want to sell, we want to save that, just renovate.
Just for clarification, A through E are being torn down?
A through E plus area G. And I will say on that area G, that's in that middle area right there. It's got two parts of it. Part of that is the middle school dining area. The other part of it has restrooms. It's got some support areas for the kitchen. On the upper level, it's got a chorus room and some other circulation spaces. That portion, we do want to tear that down. Now, whether or not we tear that down in its entirety or not, we still need to determine that. We may try to keep the portion that's actually the dining area. We'll take off that knuckle, that piece that's on the outside. It's got that real irregular geometry. As you've seen, it's got a lot of damage to it. And then the intent is when we'll go to the diagram for the proposed solution, and we're going to expand that dining area and make that a much larger dining space. So we still haven't determined completely whether we're going to keep part of that, renovate it, and then build it, or build it all new. So,
But at this point, the only bids for demolition that we've approved are A and B, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Just clarifying that.
But yes, our plans will be to only keep area F renovated, and everything else would be removed and rebuilt.
Right.
So back to the cost assessment sheet at 1117. So at the top, we try to keep a low range and a high range, knowing that this cost, we'll know it on bid day. That's when we're going to know what these costs are. And we've been working very closely with Brock Miller on what these values are between the low end of per square foot cost and the high end. But you can see we have a range of 45.9 to 52.1, and then I'll show you one at the very bottom. So the next category is project contingencies. We still know that we need those. There will be things that will be discovered. There will be things that need to be covered. There will be a need to potentially, as the scope evolves and the project evolves, we just need to have a contingency built into this thing. So then you end up with an overall somewhere between 48.2 to 54.7. Now we get into that area D, section D, called project expenses or soft costs. These are things that are not bid, they're not part of the hard construction portions that Brock Miller would be overseeing on the construction manager side. But there are things that you need to have on your radar that will be necessary to have your building that is ready to move into. So we've still carried those allocated amounts that we feel are reasonable to cover those costs. But I will say that those costs are in your control. So for example, we put in here one of the big categories, number 7, that's all of FF&E. So that's cameras, furniture, computers, anything, telephone systems, athletic equipment, all of those things. So that's a pretty good sized number there. You may or may not spend all those dollars. There's an owner prep cost in here, plugged in $50,000. If you don't need any of that $50,000, it's not spent. So it's just here knowing that if you did have to hire a moving company or a service to come in and do something, you've got dollars included in this cost. So you got about 9.5 to 10.7 on the soft costs, so 57 to 65.4 overall. And I want you to keep going down. So we go down to section F, near the bottom of the sheet. So we wanted to outline anticipated funding sources for this. So we know there's the $35 million for the prop kits. That's going to be determined in August. And then the FEMA portion of it, I have updated this number because, again, what we were looking at before was the exercise to get them to approve it. So now they're approved it, and they didn't approve a specific dollar amount. They approved that they're going to cover the cost difference between what it's going to cost them bid day, what's actually bid and spent, minus an allocation for insurance. They do want to apply, see insurance apply to a portion of it. Then whatever's left over, they cover that 75%, and that number will float. But what you're seeing here, that 25 million to almost 30 million, that's based on the construction costs that I determined or estimated up above. So that number is not like some of the numbers you saw previously when we did the FEMA exercise. So this number's grown a little bit. So now you've got potential funding source of just over 60 million, 60 million, 65,000 to could be 60, almost $65 million. And then down right below that, because I want to guard against everybody looking at the low range of this and saying that's our price, and anything over that's we swing and a miss. Okay, so because it's going to be in a range. So the numbers right below that says average. All I did is I took and I averaged the high number and the low numbers. So really, if you can start thinking about here's the middle of the range, it could be a little higher, it could be a little lower. So so we got the prop kids on the funding part of it, but the FEMA on the high side of that, or the average I should say, 27. So we got potential total funds of 62.5 million, and the average construction value of about 61.6 million. So that's the number in the middle. You know, we're going to continue to keep working through this, and where we find opportunities to save costs, to reduce costs, we will do that. It's not our intention whatsoever to spend as many dollars as we can on this project. So, because we know this is already pushing the limit and over the limit a little bit. But I did want you to see kind of the impact of where the FEMA dollars get in. So, because there's been discussion, I understand, and you're looking at $50 million for construction, $10 million for the project expenses, kind of pretty straightforward math, so $60 million is the target. I guess the way I was reading kind of into that is that we know we got $35 million from the bond, if it happens, and then it's what FEMA will cover to get to the project that we need, that meets the program needs to get the project finished. So in that case, it did take just a little bit over that 60 million. I'll let you see that. Any questions on the cost sheet? You know, and as we continue to get more and more detail on the project, Krochmiller will continue to do their cost estimating, and we'll be able to dial this stuff in up here at the top. We'll be glad to sit down with whomever, with the school district, to try to work through some of the soft costs down here. If you say, well, we don't really need dollars set aside for moving or expenses or any of those, some of these other costs, I mean, we can dial those numbers back. But really, this is just making sure that you're not forgetting something that has to be bought. So we'll continue to update this sheet.
Stephen, D1, can you explain that a little bit?
That's all right.
D1?
D?
Consultant.
Oh, D1 consultants, okay. Yeah, this is for architectural and engineering services. That's part of it. That's us and our consultants. It covers, like I said, architectural, mechanical, electrical, plumbing, civil engineering, structural engineering, landscape design. So that is a number that's derived from our contract agreement with the school district, and it's based on those construction dollars at the top. So as those dollars fluctuate, that number will fluctuate as well. other consultants, that's kind of, again, a plug number in there. But for the geotechnical, we have some geotechnical work done. So we knew that was gonna have to happen. We could encounter wanting to get an acoustician involved to talk about a space of acoustics, to give us some guidance from the design side of what we want to do. So it could be some dollars there. Again, if there's theatrical lighting or sound systems, AV systems, land surveying, there are portions of that are necessary. And then the construction phase testing that you all approved basically this evening. So we just had a number of issues you really need to keep, we think, somewhere in this ballpark to be able to make sure you can pay for those types of services. But again, those are really at your control. I mean, you're not being spent unless you say we want to spend it, we want to do it.
This template could be very valuable for us to continue using this one. So it's familiar to us, we get very comfortable with it, and as we go through and start dialing those numbers to more specific, but still use this familiar template.
Yeah, I would like to get down to where on that number 7, that FF&E number, instead of putting an allowance in it like that, get rid of that number and start working alongside you all and say, what do we think we need for AV? What do we think we need for security systems? And put dollar amounts in there, like if we're gonna need 100 to 125,000 for this, we're gonna need 75 to 100 for this. And then work it all the way down that list. And then you'll know when those things are out there, because you'll be the ones that'll be pursuing those services and hiring for those services. You'll know that, hey, we got a range already plugged into our budget, so let's try to keep it our range. So.
And some of those items, like the security systems and different things like that, would be areas that we'll pursue with the grant writing and things. So those numbers may be affected by what grants we could get for those areas. But I like the idea that it's a familiar template that we all get used to looking at, and that it has a range, and hopefully then that starts to dial in, become more solid going forward.
And I do want to say there's a contingency in that category. It's number 9, so D9. Again, it's just a 5% contingency. It's quite a bit of money there, though. So I mean, pretty quickly we could probably make some decisions. But when we make the decisions, what it does is it starts kind of pulling the parameters in a little bit on both ends of it. But we could pretty quickly get this down into that dollar value we wanted. Just closer on the low end. So.
How soon till you could have to where you will have detailed drawings you can submit for people to look at and give numbers on phone system, security and all that? Because they're going to need drawings to give that number, right?
Yes, they're going to need, it'd be better. I mean, otherwise they're going to give you some kind of a square foot number or something. But, we kind of had a little bit of an interruption, since the first part of April till just more recently here. And, we're trying to get our team geared back up. We have been working. I'm not saying we haven't been working, but getting this high school refocused, realigned, moving. So we want to continue to keep that going. We'd like to see us getting through these documents sometime in the fall time period, October, November, and getting these documents to where they're hard documents. They'll be able to give us a lot better pricing at that point, even before we get out to subcontractors. But I don't know if you want to expand on that or not.
We will typically, as they develop drawings at certain intervals, we will provide budget estimates. And to Dr. Jones' point, we'll use this document to carry those numbers. And then as the drawings develop, we'll also be able to identify some alternates we can show on this sheet. I think there's a space on there for alternates towards the top.
Yep, I see.
That gives us the ability to, I would really like this, but only if we have enough money. So those are kind of the belts and suspenders things that we have. One of that means that we have to control costs, and we will carry those alternates into the bid documents. And similar to what you've seen with what we did on the demo package, we asked contractors to provide pricing for additional items if you so chose to do it. And that gives you guys a little bit of flexibility so that when if we did get to opening the bids and all the numbers ended up quite a bit higher, we don't have to go back and redesign and lose even more time than we've already done. So this kind of gives us some decision-making on the fly.
So sometime soon, we will have some kind of a blueprint, because I don't know that this is gonna serve us well for our election.
Yes, absolutely, no,
You
I
have,
understand that.
you have some drawings.
Yeah, we're gonna go over some
Okay.
drawings here that, we really wanna try to get these developed with much more clarity, simplified, so that it's gonna be consumable by the public and the community, and for you all, to be able to have in your bag or pocket.
On those contingencies, is that a set percentage?
It's just a
Look like,
estimate that we said, we think 5% is an accurate number to put in there, or 10%, or 3%. No, there's no really standard rule of thumb. It's just us putting that in there, knowing just from experience that it could be up to about that number.
So from your experience, 5% is sufficient.
You're talking about for project construction contingency, it's gonna be tight. I mean, it's not gonna be high. I mean, so, but we know we're already bumping up against this top. So that's where we're gonna have to make sure we can get this thing compressed and get the right materials, the right system specified, get things right size. And then as Takala said, we will work towards getting some alternates to make sure that we've got an alternate product that's either, it may be either higher than the base product that's in there, or it might be a product that's lower cost than what's in there.
Usually 3 to 5% is the minimum of where you want to be on that range. And that contingency really comes in handy for the unforeseen items, which are usually below grade or in a renovation. If you open something up, you've already started, you got to keep going. You've got this slush fund over here that you can allocate that cost to. And it is a contingency that's controlled by the district. We help manage it.
And if we get into that slush fund, maybe we could balance that out with value engineering at some
We
point.
will absolutely do value engineering, irregardless if you were under budget or not. We'll do value engineering after the bid, and then that money that's saved can go towards a contingency. Sometimes we've seen where contingencies are used as a placeholder until, for instance, a lot of the unforeseen stuff is below grade. You get to a certain 25% complete on construction, you're out of the water, so to speak, on those potential issues. So now all of a sudden, maybe that 3 to 5% portion of that can be used to accept an alternate that you were not accepting until you knew you were gonna not use some of those costs.
Is that 65.5 million, is that the highest number we're going to see so far, or when we come back, we're going to see 70? Or
No, I'm not planning on coming back with anything higher than that. No, this is based on,
seems like we just keep going up.
this is based on the square footages that we're at.
And that does include the weight room in the
This
facility?
does right here.
65.5.
It's in this calculation for square footage, yes. So it could still be within this range down here. You're looking at the bottom number down there, between 60 million, a little over to 65.
Doesn't even want it.
Yeah. The square footages are included in that.
So then if the weight room is back in the high school, we taking the weight room out of the metal building?
Yeah, I don't know that we would need to have a duplicate weight room out there.
I'm just making sure.
That's that future phase out there, so.
Okay.
It's just, I'm trying to really making sure that we can take every advantage to get you $3 of FEMA money for every dollar you put in. And I don't wanna miss that.
But at some point
By
in
putting that
time,
out in the
our
other-
25% is going to start
That's
hitting.
all right.
At some point in time, we keep,
Yeah, I understand that,
it's
right.
going to start hitting the budget that the
Right.
district has. And
Right.
that money is not there.
Right, I understand, right, we need to have a weight room, one place or the other.
Right.
I'd rather have it in
So,
the facility
Yeah.
for safety reason.
right. And I think just from the academic schedule, it's a big deal to try to keep that all right there at the high school piece. Saves time, it's just safer for the kiddos too, so. Okay, so the diagram, we put, there you go. I think you've seen this. This is actually all 3 levels of the high school. So, you know, that same scenario is still in play. You see it's a W.3. That's just the one that we kind of ended up landing on, that we've still been continuing to work with the building committee. So just, you know, we went WXY, I believe, so, and kind of came back to where we are for the most part. So if you look on the diagram, you can see where this gymnasium, here's the green box, that's the end of that. So this is the lowest level, that's the middle level, and then as you move off to the side, that's the upper level still. So the gymnasium was one of the elements. You see, well, kind of back up a second, where you see the light blue, that's essentially where the footprint of the west wing is, the 1970s. And that's not delineated in that red hatch area. So we kind of left the red hatch parts on there so you can know where the 203 wing is, where the gym is currently, the library and so forth. So with the west wing, what we've done is we've actually, it's going to be tore down, and we're going to rebuild it. We're going to rebuild it back a little bit larger. Before the previous scenario, we had a west wing, and then we also were doing a east wing. Okay, so by changing the geometry of that wing and extending that wing, it allows us to repack that building in a much more efficient manner than trying to reuse the 70s wing as it was. So that's kind of where that sits. You can see that. Well, the salmon color down there in area G, which is the middle school cafeteria area, that there was really no change from that previous design. So overall, where we were in April to where this diagram is very similar, except for that west wing is different and there's no east wing. And then we took the gymnasium, since now we have a little bit more room on that east side of the building, we can turn that gymnasium, relocate locker rooms, put a weight room on top of that locker room, and get that still in kind of the same design vernacular that we had with the previous design. And then as you work your way up towards the north, a lot of those features are still in the same position. So the multi-purpose there, the main entrance at the very north center, administration, special ed. Then you move a little bit towards the south, you've got the library/media center, you've got that hub for that high school common space. The other thing I do want to point out is right now where the existing stair elevator is, and that there's a lot of utilities in that area. There's a lot of utilities coming into that area still. So we would like to save that area. Now, it's going to have to be pretty heavy kind of litigation with the state and everything, but we believe this is a way we're going to save some money on this project. And we can still work with it. It still works with this design just like we have it. So that is the one piece that we're going to try to work with the bones of that, I should say. So.
And where is that in this diagram?
You'll see it on the second floor.
VRR, I think
it's this gray box right here,
yeah.
this little diagram right there. So it still works really well with our overall circulation. You know, that was one of the major goals for this project and for the design, was to clean up that circulation. So it still works for all of that. I do want to say that the organization of that, you can probably see that maybe on your diagram. But how the actual west wing is working, you're creating kind of neighborhoods. So looking at that very lowest level, that's math and social studies on that level. And what we've been able to do is get all of those classes in that same floor, and then provide still that collaborative environment for teaching and instruction and the students. But it's more focused on that particular, that neighborhood. And then when you go up, so go to the middle level, so to your right on the diagram. On that floor, we have the foreign language, and we have the ELA. those all stack in there very nicely programmatically. It provides, again, that collaborative space as well. And then you go to the upper level, you'll see on that level we have the science lab and the health. Those are good to have that on that level because there's a lot of utilities for those spaces. There's a lot of exhaust, there's a lot of ventilation. So by having that located on that upper level, we're not going up through different floors of the building to get to a roof area. So, you know, that'll pay dividends when it comes time for bids and how far a mechanical contractor has to run a duct, you know, or run conduit and piping. So those are all good things. Jumping back down to the middle level, right there in the middle, you can see where we're converting the band and choir. We're going to convert that to the art. There's also an opportunity potentially there in the fax area. And I know that was something when we were looking at putting it in the 1970s wing. We were talking about the challenges of that, again, because it was on a lower level. So fax room, again, needs ventilation, needs space because you have foods in that area. So again, optimizing and putting it on the upper level at that point, and it's, again, most beneficial for that. And we think it's in a really good spot. I will say, so just jumping back to the numbers that's on the sheet. So the business classes, it has been discussed that those would be moving out to the Career Center. So those are not figured into this equation. They are going to be at the Business Center, Career Center.
How many classes is that then?
I'm sorry?
How many classes is that?
That's two.
Two?
Yeah. And then we talked about the larger West Wing, the gymnasium rotation. So that's kind of the highlights, that little list on the side there.
Are the numbers in this little corner?
The numbers in this little corner box?
That's part of the programming document that we have, and we'd be happy to share that document with you. It's a multi-page Excel sheet.
So if I just roughly count these classrooms, I'm counting 27, is that right? Or if I, now I didn't count the business classes, but if I just count these little things what you're telling me are classrooms, is that right?
Yeah, they should all be delineated on there, correct?
Mr. Schaefer, does that sound right?
Off the top of my head, that sounds about right.
Okay.
Yeah, all these are based, all these, again, have the math behind it. I mean,
Right.
we've got every space listed in an Excel spreadsheet, what the desirable square footage is, and how many students are gonna be in those rooms. So, that's how we design the buildings today. We start with those known programming spaces, what are the optimum sizes for it. That's the problem with your existing high school was, you know, back in the 50s, they had different standards for how big classrooms should be. So, you know, today we use today's standards. So it grows out of that Excel sheet, ends up on a diagram like this. So it starts to take shape and we start.
Bill, didn't the information you have say 34?
Yes. Yeah.
34
That's the number
classrooms.
that Justin gave me, yes.
So yeah, we will work with you and we'll get you, once we kind of come to agreement that this is where we want to go. We'll go.
Band,
Yeah.
choir,
I didn't count band and choir, I didn't count sped.
Full list of how you can.
So we're all on the same page.
Right.
How you can, right.
Same number.
Yeah, we all want to be talking the same numbers, absolutely. Yep.
Is it crazy to think that, I still think the gym would be better off up where the pack is? Coming in on, like, I'll call it a mezzanine, that's probably not a word, but you come in above the bleachers. But our bigger parking lot is across the street there. And you get all these people coming in from out of town, 90% of the time they come in from out of town, they're going to your gym. So you would have your big parking lot and they'd walk directly into that gym, it'd be easier to get to. And you would drop down into the bleachers then and use the, for lack of a word, the lay of the land, that hillside, and put your gym floor down on the ground. And your pack, which holds less people, could go down on the bus parking lot because that parking area is smaller. Is that crazy?
Well, what we were trying to do, how we kind of put the programming spaces in here relative to each other, is we already have kind of a hub of active athletics at the middle school that's down there at that end of the building. And it was nice to be able to supplement it with this other additional gym, so that there could be some crossover usage of all the gymnasiums simultaneously. So that was one of the factors with it. So. And then we wanted to still have that separation, and we talked about the separation, obviously, from a multi-use space to a gymnasium, so that they're not competing next to each other from a sound and noise, and just the various spectators are going to be attracted to one another. We're really trying to create it where these things come together down there near the middle school, near the cafeteria, I should say, the dining cafeteria, just where area G is currently. We really want to try to, when we get this done, that's going to be a major point where folks coming from the north can come down either the west or the east side of this building and then come into this building both sides. We really want to be able to try to get a lot more of that happening with this solution than what currently happens.
The loading dock and all that would remain the same?
No, they'll actually rotate around to the south side a little bit. You talk about for the kitchens?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so they'll rotate around to the south. Now, there will be rework of freezers and coolers. Those freezers and coolers they're not going to handle a move. If you touch them, they're going to need to replace them essentially at this point. But we are trying to still move that loading dock around to the south, but to do a little bit with that paving so we know we get delivery trucks backed up in there. But it'll still work. They can get right back in the back of the kitchen service area. So yeah, those are expensive things to deal with. The kitchen's expensive to mess with. So where we can, we're trying to take advantage of the infrastructure you have. So. So I guess from my perspective, I just want to make sure that we're all in consensus that we're going to keep that area F. I think there have been some discussions about maybe area D. Maybe that might be one that's stay or not, but not in our assessment here. We really believe that F is the one that we could repurpose at this point. So just that, and then the general direction to continue to go down this path. It's a variation of where we spent a lot of time in meetings to get to, so we're tweaking it. We're still keeping the integrity of that previous design efforts, and we'll definitely then dive in here, get this thing cleaned up, get names and numbers, however you want to get that document so we can share it out with people. We'll get that for you.
So do we need to request that the scope on the demolition be changed?
Yes. So to Stephen's point, Marshall Wrecking has been awarded the demo of areas A and B for this first phase, and they are ready to start that work next week. And they've got plenty of time to get that work done. However, we've reached out to them, told them that the plan may possibly be changing, and we may be tearing down quite a bit more. So if we were to leave area F and tear down everything else, it changes how they're going to go about doing everything. So to start with, it's about $1 million more that we need to finalize with them, and there's a lot of moving parts and pieces involved with that number. Another portion of that is they have submitted a 10-day DNR notice, which is required to demo any building, and that is just for area A and B. So if we're gonna tear down more, they've gotta resubmit that 10-day notice. And their thought process, which makes good sense, is they wanna start on the south half and work up towards the Learning Expo and try and get as much of this intrusive work completed before school starts. And they're anticipating that they're gonna need every bit of 10 weeks to get a majority of this work done. But they think that they can get the loud and disruptive work for the most part completed by the time school starts, or very close to it. But just knowing that they've got to basically go back and resubmit a 10-day notice before they can start. The good news is that gives us a little bit of time to shore up some firm pricing with them. There's currently a plan in place to, the structural engineers were on site today looking at the possibility of utilizing some of the existing structure for shoring between areas A and B and C. If you're gonna demo more, we won't need that shoring. So there's potentially $150,000 in shoring costs included in their bid between the two phases. You're still gonna need that, but it's gonna change. And we've got the structural engineers that were looking today, doing some exploratory work to find out what that would be involved, but that would be around Area G. And we would leave Area G this summer while we're still working out the details of how much of G is going to remain. And we would have to come back next summer and do that demo. A lot of that demo is going to be hand demo because it is much more tedious and it's in between some existing structures that remain. And we'll be doing it at the same time that we're building the new construction adjacent to it. But it is doable. And there's also some utility costs that we're gonna have to get involved in, figure out where to cut and cap interior utilities. Right now, for the last 2 weeks, we've been focusing on what those utilities are between areas A and B and C. And so we've just now identified those, but if we're gonna tear down more, we don't even have to worry about that. Now we need to start looking around area G and F to see what needs to be cut and capped, what can be abandoned, what has to be relocated. For instance, the fire alarm has been relocated once. With this in mind, we're gonna need to relocate it one more time and either get it into the middle school or get a remote panel in area F, which you guys are going to keep. And so those are the things that we're working on, but if you are going to demo those areas, we need to let them know as soon as possible because our goal is to not be disruptive to your students once school starts.
Well, these are all part of the 140-some thousand square feet, right? So they have to go? New building's gonna go there, right?
Yes.
So.
Based off of this diagram, that is exactly what we're looking at.
And this is all part of the FEMA 50% plus?
Yes.
Okay. You're saying leave G for now and figure out how much of that comes off like.
Yeah. And we're gonna need to work around when that work can get done, when it's not being needed for dining purposes.
So we need to get a number from them on the rest of it?
Yes, I've got an approximate number right now, but we want to do some, I didn't want to go through the process unless you guys were sure that this is, you wanted to tear these down. But we've got the 10-day notice we need to file anyway, so that gives us a little bit of time to get a firm price on the demo and some of the shoring and utilities that are going to be involved in it. And we knew some of that was going to be unknown or initially, and we included an allowance for that work. We're probably going to have to do the same with this, just because we may not have enough time to identify all of it, and with the main goal being getting them on site and started and out of your guys' hair.
The only problem would be tearing it down before we know that tax levy passes.
Yep. And if you don't, if you waited, obviously then you're tearing it down while school's in session, which has a host of potential challenges, or you're waiting until the following summer. And then that gets into.
C, and E structurally are in the 50%, well, for sure.
I mean,
The only thing we
the
can.
entire high
say
school
is
is
the
in the
ski
50% rule. And they made their decision on that, so they're accepting that, so we're good with that. And they are good with us keeping F. They're still gonna contribute to F. It's just they'll contribute to the level of the renovation cost. So again, it's just going back to the dollars that you actually spend, you know, they will contribute. So even by not taking that down, it's still all it's all under that approval that FEMA gave to you, that they're gonna step in and contribute.
And another aspect of this too is that the high school's fed off the biomass. Depending on how much we take offline, does it make sense to keep the biomass because it feeds part of the old senior high? So we've looked at converting that to natural gas too. There's fiber optic that has to be relocated that we've got a plan in place to get that started. So there's a lot of moving parts involved with it outside of the actual wrecking of the structures.
And for example, the fiber optics would be one of those things that would not work well during the school year. Is that?
The fiber optic, for what we know right now, is feeding the Learning Expo, and it has to be relocated to tear those buildings down. So that, we've got a plan in place to relocate a portion of that fiber optic, just so that by the time school starts in August, you still have those communications in place at the Learning Expo.
It's not gonna be taking it over to the old senior high?
What's that?
Is that other fiber gonna be going to the old senior high?
No, we're pulling it back to the west. I don't know, there's, I think, 7 existing hand boxes on the existing high school that we're gonna pull that out too. And then eventually, with the new construction, that may need to get demoed and relocated permanently. But this is kind of a quick fix.
There's a conduit under the ground there that had fiber ran in it once before from the old senior high basement that goes to the middle of that parking lot.
They got crushed.
That's where the Learning Expo is, that
Yes.
parking lot?
Yeah, that got crushed. They looked at that earlier and they found out that when they were doing the parking lot area, that whole piping area got crushed.
Dang. Shucks.
So we need a motion.
Really, I guess, I mean, in order to basically clarify that, yes, we're gonna keep F, and we're gonna continue to proceed down this pathway that we've outlined here on this W.3 million.
I get the timing of it, it makes sense, but it's a little premature, I feel like, before this passes.
Yeah, so D is still, for intents and purposes, usable, correct? What about, I mean, I guess what I'm saying is it's kind of like he said, if this doesn't pass again in August, we won't have the money to back this $60 million plan.
I understand that.
Would part of this though was we were looking at keeping D at one point in time, but then with the interim metal building and the bell tower, we could shift those spaces permanently to those two places from the Learning Expo and what we were potentially going to use the science and English classrooms for. So under the current plan with the bell tower and the Steely Dan building, you will not have any classes in that high school, or need to have any classes in that high school if it passes or does not pass. It will just sit,
But,
it will just sit vacant.
I mean, the price per square foot at 175 to 200 for renovations, a lot less than new. And our backs are against the wall then.
Yes, to your point, if you chose to leave that square footage, you would then have to accommodate the new design to incorporate that wing into it.
But we couldn't
depending on-
include A, B, or E structurally because of the decking.
Correct.
Right, the unreinforced masonry walls, no
And
laterals.
C is a different decking? Or is it the same?
It's
C has some foundation
Yeah.
issues that were observed initially. It's got some cracking and settlement.
I guess my only real concern is what is plan B if this doesn't pass in August? Where do we proceed if we've just tore down the only building left that's usable?
Is it usable?
I thought we took kids out of it because it wasn't usable.
Well, D,
Oh, it's got smaller ones?
science, is there's a few classrooms there that are, we've moved kids out of them for the construction process. but-
That's not one of them that, okay.
and I guess from a realistic standpoint, could be used under necessary circumstances, correct? I mean, in the long run, I
Isn't
think
G where we were, that, what we were using, what the kids were?
E.
Yeah,
E.
the 71.
The 1970,
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
royal bluish purple, E.
Right,
I mean,
that area.
I agree that it all needs to go and we need to follow this plan and build forward, but I'm just a little concerned.
Yes.
Number one, about perception too. The public sees you tear it down, I mean, and you're still asking for a vote. You've kind of already done the project without approval.
There's no doubt about it, in some regards, you were getting the cart in front of the horse.
Yeah.
But
I understand trying to save money too.
it's part of it's trying to save money, the other part of it is really don't think you want us tearing those buildings down when you got kids in school.
I don't disagree with that too.
You have the replace versus repair designation. from FEMA.
Yeah, but we can't afford that. Well, I guess we'd have to scale back the square footage drastically somewhere. And get classrooms up.
We'd still have by that point the engineered metal building with all those classrooms in it.
So if the election initiative didn't pass and we had already tore that down, we could go in and afford the classroom structure piece with the FEMA money. That square footage.
Wouldn't have the money in the $1 against the 30 though.
I'm sorry.
I mean, you have to have the money to get reimbursed from FEMA, we wouldn't have it reimbursed.
Well, the money that we would have coming in is some of the $8 million in previous FEMA money that we've got projects spent all around campus.
And you're getting those reimbursements pretty quickly after you spend those dollars. I know here in the front, it hasn't been that way because you haven't had that agreement from FEMA. But now you have that agreement with FEMA. as you spend those dollars, those invoices can be turned into FEMA, and those dollars can be turned around back to you within, I want to say, 30 days or less. I've seen them in some grants considerably less than that. You know, if the bond would not pass, if the request that you're asking for now, you may have to go to the next layer down. I mean, at some point, there's a no cost, no tax increase bond that you could run that generates, I think, some dollars. I mean, we gotta go to school back. Or we continue to stay in temporary facilities until such time that they want to support it. I'm just saying that's the next step, I guess. The fallback is you'd have to go back and say, well, what can we generate with 10 cents or at a no tax increase? I know Mike ran all those numbers on those things. But there's big parts of this building that you can't move into them. And maybe seeing parts of these buildings come down is like, yes, they are being damaged beyond repair.
What's everybody thinking?
I mean, I know it doesn't feel right to do it, but we're leaving our kids hanging. I mean, again.
Yeah, I know.
I mean,
But if you can't use them, I don't know why you leave them there.
Right.
I don't either.
And you got them here, it's gonna cost you more to tear them down later. You spend another $500,000 than you would now, probably.
Well, that's gonna cost us more on the back end, because we're gonna have to get those classrooms back again. And
Worst case scenario, the thing doesn't pass, which I don't see that. You keep going the way you are, temporary classroom, rent some trailers or something, but I can't see it not passing. Don't take a chance. Gotta think positive.
I think it's a risk.
Everything's a risk.
Yeah.
It's a risk we gotta take, but I think.
I mean, we've had this risk for over a year now, and we haven't done anything.
So 10 weeks is about Labor Day? Give or take
Yes.
into August Labor Day?
When
Could
is,
Building D be left as a last standalone? I know that's-
Building D, no, A and B they would work south to north.
Right. D wouldn't, I mean, it wouldn't be structurally sound to just leave that hanging out. If you see where I'm going, if you see where I'm going with it.
It could, but it needs to be, we need to know that
That would be a lot
now,
of
because
shoring.
that gets into the shoring part of it.
Since none of this is inhabited, where is the danger during the school year? Is it the hauling off, the truck movement? Or
That's part of it, tearing down the structures themselves and getting correct shoring in place is another part of it, which is part of the reason we want to start from the south and work our way north. In the event that we don't get it all demoed, we're still several feet away from the existing buildings that are occupied. There's going to be dust, we've got noise. The dust, we have means and methods to control it. But that being said, it's still possible that it could be an issue that has to be dealt with daily.
Fire hose.
And I would, and again, it kind of goes back to the utilities thing. I mean, you know, they're gonna be as careful as they can, but if they run over something, dig something up, something we don't know about that serves some other parts of some building, it'd be better if we did that in the summer, obviously. I know that.
I just don't think it's safe for us to have kids in a building and we're tearing around it. This doesn't sound safe to me.
Because
But
kids
the-
will be down on the south end.
That D area too, the way that it was built onto, that corridor, you're talking a pretty good measure of temporary partitions for an extended period of time that would have to be maintained. I'm not saying we couldn't do it, but it would be,
Structurally, it's a little unusual way.
yeah, laterally, there's some lateral concerns there, and then just from a weather standpoint, that whole, yeah.
So is D the only building we have students in?
You technically, you don't have students in any of these anymore. You don't need.
Well, I'm
That's
just
the only
saying,
one that is.
2 months ago.
2 months ago, we had some in D.
Okay.
Right, but yeah,
We took them out.
not because school's out. The kids were moved out of D before the.
That's that 1970s
Oh,
wing that we got the
oh,
call
okay,
on.
okay. Now, okay.
I thought, yeah,
Now I'm on page.
Oh, I'm sorry, F, yes, man, I was looking at C. But F is stay.
Do we have a figure on demolition, all of it?
Are there numbers on demolition?
Yes, it's about an additional $1 million is what we're thinking right now. That's with some unknowns, shoring, utility disconnects,
what was the figure we approved
447,000, I think,
for A and B?
for A and B.
So $1.5 million.
$1.5 million total is what we're.
To get it all taken down. I just think we go for it. It's gotta be removed anyway. We gotta operate out of the tent, we just gotta operate out of the tent.
I agree with Dan. Yes and no with Dan. Is it a risk? Yeah, it's a huge risk, but I also look at it as we're not even using them buildings, or we can't use those buildings.
They're uninhabitable, why keep them?
Yeah, that, and then if we can, you know, say demolition starts, just a figure, let's say next week on E, we just need to post out, we just need to inform the community of, hey, this is why we're doing this.
If you were to keep area D, which is where your science classrooms are, that would in essence be the only thing that's left besides the old senior high on that biomass.
Yeah.
And so it doesn't make sense. Now you're going back and you're trying to introduce a HVAC system probably that's ground mounted or on the roofs, and you don't really have the ceiling space. And so now all of a sudden, can it be done? Yes, but it's getting to the point where you're going to start sinking more money into it than it is. But it can be done. But those were some of the things that we kept looking at was, well, there's only one little piece left, and it's fed off of some of these things. You've got all these utilities there that are right next to it. You've got this big exposure to the west. If you tear down the existing library, you've got nothing to protect it. You've got to put in lateral shoring, a lot of it, and temporary partitions to protect it. And that is the corridor that your students would be walking up and down, traversing daily.
And some gymnastics with the north exit stairs.
And then in addition to that, now we're it's not a problem, but we're building around that.
I
what's the strength of that structure with the rest of them going around it?
The current,
That D, if you left D standalone, it's just not very good, is it?
well, that's why we've got to do engineer shoring on it. And we don't know at this point. Like right now, for instance, what we're looking at with the area between A and B and C, we feel pretty good about, we found some existing steel that we can leave in place to laterally support that. But until we get into it, we don't know exactly. And then the question becomes, how do you actually get the shoring installed so that you can tear the building down? With this summer.
Because the shoring basically needs to be where the,
Shoring needs to be in place before you do the dam. So they'll come in, but
Right, but
ideally you do.
in there, you're tearing it down.
Yeah, you implement the shoring and then you disconnect the buildings by hand. It's a lot of handwork. And then after all of that is in place, then you go in and you pull the existing structure joint with machines. And then they sort it and haul it off.
We have the funds for all that, Dr. John?
Once that FEMA starts rolling, we'll feel a lot better.
I don't know, I'm optimistic, but I say we take it out, we're not using it, it's damaged. I mean, we gotta go in and pull kids out of it because the engineer said it ain't safe to be in. Why would we not try to get it out of there now and save some money?
I say we go for it.
I say we go for it too.
And you can help it sell the tax thing.
We're just gonna have to work hard, guys, with the community. We have to be transparent, we have to work hard. That's, I mean, but we gotta do this for our kids. We can't have our kids in limbo for 4 more years. I mean, and we're gonna start losing staff if we don't do something.
What's the motion gonna be?
I don't know, but I'll make one.
Well, either that or I'm gonna make one.
I make a motion that we
It would hinge
Get
on your
proposals to demo
additional,
A
areas
through E
A, B, C, D, E, and G.
and G and renovate F.
Yeah.
I thought G we were gonna hold off on for now.
We will still go ahead and get pricing,
Okay,
but it will be a second phase.
okay.
My motion.
I second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right,
That was A through G, correct?
yes.
Not, but not F.
Not F.
Not F, thank you.
well, and does the motion need to be reflecting G separately, or does it not? And you can just go ahead and do it that way.
It's up to you. It would probably be easiest to do it under one proposal and go ahead and lock the pricing in.
Okay,
That way we don't have to reprice it next summer.
so then G becomes an,
Second
separate.
phase.
Second phase.
Same proposal, second phase.
Okay. They're coming back to do it.
They are coming back, but a lot, you're not paying a premium on the mobilization cost because a lot of that is going to be handwork.
Okay. Any more from you guys? Anything else you need to tell me?
We're gonna continue to proceed down this path.
Okay.
And like I said, we'll start focusing on giving you all the information that you get to share out based on that.
Yeah, this overlay I think is good. It's better. And if we can get some blueprints.
Yeah.
That'd be good.
Yeah.
Okay, next, we're gonna have a talk with Kim and Scott, whoever from the Prop Kids Committee, so that we could collaborate and make sure we're going in the same direction with them. Let them go support this thing.
Yeah.
Step
Come
up
on,
there.
Art, yeah.
Okay.
Hot seat.
So earlier, we had passed out a list of some things that, we have been asking for. I know Stephen here has a lot of work to do, so, but if you guys could just go through that. The very top one is, we need you all to feed us. What we were doing last time, obviously, is making up our own posts off of information that we would run by Dr. Jones a lot of times, so it seems like more is jumping on board here. That's what we need. This is a team effort, and we need that information from you all. We don't want to be making up that information. We will check into anything you want. The last time we did pride ourselves on, we researched. So everything could be validated that we put out there. We want to keep it that way, but that's where you all come in at. There's a lot of questions about that 2017 crop. We want to answer it. They're asking them, we need to give them those answers. There is a lot of people that are undereducated about the fact that the school is giving 20 cents. Let's inform them. We gotta inform them. How much was that supposed to generate over that time? How much was the community, taxpayers, supposed to generate over that time? You'll see one of those on there is the cost of the primary build, the cost of the middle school build. They're out there saying it was $31 million for both buildings. Guys, I know that's not what happened. And they're saying 3 buildings got built. I know that's not what happened. I was on that prop, Scott was on that prop, so we know those are misinformed information that people's getting out there. And other people that don't know are buying it. So we need to educate them on that. That's why we're asking for those figures. One thing I didn't have on there, if you all could write on there, is phases of the building. If we could get that list, show them what's gonna happen, show them that those classrooms are gonna be focused on first. That's what they wanna know, that instructional piece is gonna be out there first. So our job is to advocate for you all. Our job is to ask for that yes vote. Use the information that you have for us, okay? And we've been on WTF, we've been on our site, we've been on the school site. Whoever is answering on the school site, thank you so much. They don't tend to go after a group as much as they called out Liz and myself, point blank. So it does get hard, but we are here. We're very passionate about this. We want this to pass, but we have got to be transparent. Y'all have been saying it. We gotta tell them. You know, it's no secret. The square footage, the average cost per square footage, and then what is our cost per square footage gonna be, the blueprint, the overlay. Let's show them. We're not building anything bigger. It's not a castle like they were saying last time. You're getting exactly what we had. It's just gonna be configured different.
It is a little bit larger.
It's just a little. Well, but that depends, because do we have, another point I had on here was, do we have the old VOTEC square footage in there, and do we have the old senior high gym square footage in on the old square footage? Because that's all classroom stuff that we're using that will be wrapped up into this new building. So if you add all 3 of that in there, is it really bigger? I don't know. But yeah, they need to know. They need to know, yeah. So FEMA, they're asking. Yes, we've told them. We're gonna tell them over and over and over again. School plans on using FEMA funds to build part of this. They're asking a Q&A. I think last time we did a myth and fact. If you guys could do a Q&A for us so that we're all sharing the same information. We all have to be sharing the same information, the same numbers, the same ideas, everything. Because now they're out there saying, well, they misinformed us, well, they manipulated us. No, we didn't manipulate you. Liz does have a website that she's working on through Canva for the PAC. We have worked on a calculator to be included in on that website. So, talk to Dominic about this, maybe at some of those Q&As that we go out, community engagements, have it popped up. What is your real estate taxes? Real estate taxes are public information, by the way. They can get on, they can search what their assessed value is. So, and it's all off of that assessed value. It's 100% in educating. And again, we're here, we have a big group, they're ready to hit the ground running. We gotta know what to tell them. We gotta know what we can post. We need those answers, so.
I feel like we're way ahead of where we were the last time already.
100%.
Because you've been able to be at these meetings and hear a lot of this information.
Where are we at, Bill, with your information you put together with your flyer and the websites? Is that all gone out yet? Or is that waiting to be?
Gone out. So I've been sharing like a couple of press releases the past week about demolition, about the FEMA designation. I've been working on updating the FAQ on our landing page. I've kind of been trying to share that with you guys as I've been making those updates in the flyer.
The one sheet flyer?
Mm-hmm.
Is that something that you can share with us also? Or let us know when it's out there, we'll go grab it and share it.
Yes.
Okay. That was another thing, communicating and working together on the scheduling of things that we're going to and things that we're doing. That way we have you all there educating and us there asking for that yes vote. That's huge, so that we're not double dipping, so that they see more people. They don't just see one or two people out there, or one side or the other side out there. So if we could work on a calendar together, make a list of events, share it, whatever we have to do, I think that would make a very loud statement as well. We don't want to manipulate these people in there. They're already out there saying that basically we're blowing smoke and mirrors again. Let's show them we're not. We said something, Colin, about maybe seeing if you could come to some of these, explain to them on the construction side of it, the engineering, whatever. We had talked about maybe getting a letter, why the 1970s building cannot be reused.
Can we get
People
that
don't know
from
why.
Brian Orr?
What's that?
Can we get that from Brian?
Yes, we discussed that this morning.
Perfect. Get something out there, let them hear from the people that are actually doing it. If they don't trust us, why aren't they gonna trust you? You know, so just some different ideas that we've tossed around. Waylon Huber did reach out to Liz last night. He wants to get involved. We need to get somebody going around and talking to city and county officials. We need them to start talking. We need them to start supporting this.
I think we need to have them bring them together.
100%.
One thing, and then
Yes.
have could we have a PowerPoint with highlights of everything, even for the regular meetings?
We did not hear anything from them.
So do you?
And why not?
They were quiet during the April election.
Yeah, so do you think that we invite them to a meeting, or do you think
Sure.
we go to their meeting?
Either or.
I
Well,
think
if
you
we go
invite
to
them
their
here, because they're gonna
meeting-
have city, county, several different entities.
But will they show up?
That's the question.
If we don't go to them, will they show up?
Depends how you pressure them.
Yes. And who you have asking.
Yes.
I mean, that's 100% what it is. So if somebody's got a really good relationship, use it. Sorry.
Elected officials, sorry, get over here.
I mean, this is for their community. Everybody knows that when people come in and move to this town, they're looking at your school. And they may move for the elementary and the middle school, but are they gonna stay for the high school? I mean, and Dan, I totally understand putting the cart before the horse, I do. As you all were talking about that, my thought was these people have already been told that 1970s building's unsafe. So those science rooms were pulled out because of that. How do you put them back in there? How do you explain that? You guys have mentioned over and over and over again that you're worried about how you're gonna educate people and explain it to them. Explain that one to them. Now they're really gonna start talking and mistrusting and everything else. So I just think that they know it's coming. I also think what people don't understand is that this was coming one way or another. You guys can't pay to build a high school. The school can't afford that on the money that you bring in from the taxpayers and the state and everything else that you get. It was gonna take the community to build this high school. The tornado just brought it sooner. And that's what they don't understand. They don't realize that when the 17 runs out, you guys were gonna go back again because you couldn't build a high school without them. Another question that's being asked, why can't the 17 prop be dropped? If I understood it correctly, if we kept the 17 the way it is, and this will be a question for Mike, if we kept 17 the way it was to run out in 2036, they're paying 32 cents point something right now, 32 cents. We would have had to add 45 cents to that for the next 10 years, which would put them at 77 cents for 10 years. And then it would drop to 45 for the last 10 years. So it only saves them 10 cents. So can we get some kind of statement from Mike to explain why it's beneficial to absorb that 17 into that 26? That's what those people wanna know. Why can't we let this run out in 36? Well, you wouldn't support a 76 tax increase. Were you really gonna support a 77? So let them know that you guys heard them. And I did get that off of one of the sheets that Mike had given us. This one right here. This bottom section, right there. Okay? There's another one on there, is the 20 cents from school going to continue through 2046? I think that's happening, but I put it on there because we don't wanna say anything that we don't verify. So, those things. Don't need all this right now, obviously, but look it over. That's the type of information that we're hearing from a lot of you, that you all are hearing a lot out in the community, that's all over Facebook. Let's face it, everybody gets educated on Facebook. If it's on Facebook, it's gospel, right?
So is it a good idea that when someone questions something, be it a PAC post or whatever, and they generate a question, is it a good idea if we formulate an answer and have Bill put it out as a school blurb?
Sure.
Answering that question?
Sure.
From the school?
And then we can share it.
That's fine, just as long as we're all on the same page. You know.
Sure.
Just a little bit, so in the April PAC, I raised $33,000 to get the word out, all those flyers and everything that went out, but we didn't have all the board on board with it, so they were going to saying different things. We've got to come together as a team. We will ask for the vote, but we need all of you to also educate. When you're talking, Dr. Jones did a great job coming out, talking to groups. We need to do that probably again, because
It would
it
help if
changes.
there were a lot of us, like you said.
Oh, I think so.
A lot of people showed
Yeah.
up.
Yeah, I
Instead
know.
of one or two people.
Yeah.
I know, but
You
we
get a
still,
handful.
they do talk, and your teachers are a great sounding board to help get that passed, so we've got to get the teachers on board, and I know you worked on that last time.
Liz
But we
and
all
I-
got to be a joint effort, the PAC, like I said, we are here to ask for a vote and pay for the mailings and do all that, but you need to educate as much as you can and be all on the same page. Last time there was a group that it was left over from we the people that still were negative, and that was our biggest opposition that we had, and they were going on WTF and all that, and we have to counter that sometimes. Sometimes it's better just to leave it alone because it just spurt out and then it dies. But, we just gotta have the same sheet of music that you're saying for us.
It's
That's the
okay
biggest thing.
if you don't agree with everything. Pick your wording. You don't have to elaborate on it. Obviously, the board as a majority has to vote on anything before it happens, so remember that.
Let's remember too, when we have these community things, that everybody respect the other side's opinion.
Yeah.
100%.
Don't get into verbal back and forth.
100%.
We have to make sure that.
There's a lot of feelings, trust me. I just had to email Scott the other day and say, how do I combat this? It's tough, and
But
Liz
you're-
and I do
yeah.
get a lot of it because we're the ones out there, we're very vocal. We need a high school, and there's no other way to get it. And we just have to educate. I don't know what you all plan for, community engagement events. We need to get one going.
That's next on our list.
We're gonna have an exec PAC board meeting. I'm gonna send it out for next Tuesday, and I wanna have a big committee meeting right after that. It may be Tuesday evening, it may be Thursday next week. Big community PAC. So I don't know how it works with the board and the rules and the policy, how many of you can show up. But obviously, the more of you that can show up, the better. Liz and I are willing to meet with teachers over the summer. You tell us when, we'll have a boot camp. We'll come in, we'll sit down, we'll have a discussion, we'll answer questions, we'll tell them what we need, any of that.
We can show up as long as we don't participate.
Okay,
And that's the thing, you know, if you show up, that shows support. It shows support
Correct.
of the board. And we'd like to have as much support as we can. I mean,
Yes.
that helps with the community.
Dr. Jones, can we put
I
something
mean, you guys
together
voted on this, so you need to support it.
to educate all the PAC people and the facts, you know? Like I said, maybe a PowerPoint, you could present it to them and say, here's the facts, so everybody has all that.
That's-
Well, we
yeah.
communicate quite a bit with Dr.
Yeah.
Jones.
Yeah, do it in a group.
I have Dr. Jones, Dominic, and Nancy all in a chat saying, okay, here, we got this,
You
tell
get
me
your
what I
group
can
together,
do.
you can do the same thing with the community leaders,
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
same presentation.
100%.
I think we can get a lot of these questions answered really quickly.
I do
Yes.
too,
Yeah.
yeah,
These should be on the district's website for facts too, so
I agree.
whenever there's somebody on Facebook, you can just, here's a link.
Well, and Liz and I and Scott, we have our group, so it's Aaron and Scott and Liz and myself. We've brought Becky Chapman on. She has a degree in public relations. So we're looking for her for guidance on how often to post, when to post, things like that. We just haven't talked to you about this yet. Possibly Waylon Huber, this, he's student, he's younger, he's very engaged in the community. He's a good leader. Leslie Ackerman, is that it? That might be it. That we all kind of meet and make sure that we're headed in the right direction and reach out to people and do research, and then we go to the big community. We've not had a big community meeting yet, but we need to. We need to tell them what direction we're headed. So if we have your okay, we would like to let them know what we know so far, that the demolition's gonna happen, that SAP's working on that finalized blueprint, estimated finalized blueprint, that Colin's working on some stuff for us. If we could share that with them. I looked quickly, we have about 1,700 left in our account.
I think, Bill, don't you have a lot of that information on that one sheet flyer already, of square footage and how much is gonna be tore down and all that?
Yeah. It's lower level, but.
What Stephen had tonight, that would be great.
Yeah, we'll right on this stuff, try to get things
So
that
the only-
simple, cleaned up, and we'll make sure
Perfect.
the numbers are right, that everybody's using.
Perfect.
The only caution I give you is, so in April, we had the senior tax on there, which was competing, you gotta get rid of taxes and add taxes. Well, the governor has put
And then again,
Amendment 5 on there, which is the income tax. So that's also gonna be competing with this. So I will caution that we have to work on that too. All those people that are gonna come out and, in my personal opinion, it's a bad plan right now
It is
because
a
they
bad
don't have a
plan.
plan. They just say pass it and we'll figure it out in 3 years, just like, the healthcare bill. pass it and you'll figure out what's in it going down the road, an affordable act, a CARES Act. So that's something we're gonna have to overcome too, so.
Although it's not a added tax, it's getting rid of one, which depending if they read the whole thing or not.
Yeah,
Well,
they-
it's actually going to, it's gonna, because the state will come back and figure out how to get their
It gives
resources.
them authority without a vote to raise
Correct.
taxes.
And it gets rid of the Hancock Amendment temporarily during that 3-year phase, which is dangerous, but,
Yeah.
so hopefully we'll get enough no that doesn't pass, but.
Well, we'll try to get as much information from you
Perfect.
guys as we can.
Perfect,
And we'll stay in communication with you all.
perfect.
When you have your big meetings, let us know.
You got it.
And like I said, we're gonna try to schedule some community engagement events
Mhm.
tonight.
Awesome.
And, so
On the
we
agenda for coffee and connections tomorrow morning.
Yeah.
I'll be there.
I'll be there too, because I'm presenting right after you.
Yeah,
So-
Liz may
Scott,
be
why
there,
is there
so.
so little publicity about the problems that you just mentioned?
There is some on Facebook, there's actually groups that are in
Are getting active
opposition,
about-
yeah,
We're just
opposition
getting
of
around
Amendment
it
5. Some are, a lot are, because you got 4 amendments on there. 3 of them are just minor things. Well, actually, Amendment 4 is getting rid of initiative petitions, basically.
It'll get hot and heavy closer you get to the election.
Yeah. it'll
It's
get
all
close.
gonna start ramping up soon.
Yeah, I know my campaign's ramping up, I'm running for state rep against Brian Wolf. So, that's ramping up too, so, yeah.
Do you all have any questions for us?
I think Dominic and Dr.
Concerns?
Jones has our numbers.
Yeah. I get all of
Do
it.
you have
Available anytime to talk about
a
it.
plan for raising some more money?
Getting ready to work on that. Yeah.
That was the next conversation.
I think later on, we should lean on maybe like Ed Robinson and his signs.
So Ed Robinson donates, actually First State Community Bank, we're on all of Ed's signs and they donated a spot on every single sign that we had. So we didn't have to pay for those.
Did you see that portable one he has?
He does have a
He had it in
portable
St.
one.
Vincent's lot when they won the golf tournament?
Yes,
That thing really gets
yes.
your eye.
Yeah, he put that out, yeah.
Doggone, slipped my mind right now. There is a gentleman that I have been in contact with. He's hard to get a hold of because he's a traveling salesman. But he will work with us as well. So that we've got covered. That's typically free for us. The newspaper ads are the most. That cost us $2,000 this last time. The signs, the yard signs probably were cost. Obviously, we've got those, but we need to look at bottoms. Brochures weren't that expensive. If we're gonna do door hangers and brochures again, I'd like to revamp it. We've got better information. It needs to be revamped. We need something else.
And then door napkin campaign.
Yeah.
We used some of the teachers helped us with that.
Yes,
but
they did
Getting out
amazing.
to the voters.
Mhm.
If you thought about, I know we kind of talked about this one time, but like direct Facebook targeting, like to where you could say, hey, I want to specifically hit Perry County, people above the age of 18. These are all like parameters you can do on Facebook. And you know, it shows up as an ad.
Yes.
Is what it does, but
Yeah.
you get impressions and
Yes.
you have we do this kind of thing at work, we have pretty good success with it.
I did
so.
mention that to Liz after you and I had talked, so I will have Liz get in touch with you, because
Sure.
Liz is the one that is taking care of our social media.
Okay.
She did an amazing job with what we had last time and the time frame. The other thing is, I know there are concerns out there how often we posted, but guys, we have 6 weeks, 6 to 7 weeks. That's how many weeks we had last time and how many people were still not informed. So the posting as often as it is, trust me, Liz and I are on the phone all day, every day, 24/7. It's not something that we wanna do, but we have to because we have to listen to what the public's saying, and then we wanna educate them on that. How do we educate them on that? So the so frequent posting is because of the timing. I mean, we can cut it back, but then how are you gonna educate them? So, something to think about. But I will have Liz contact you about that, and then she can do all that.
Yeah, it's, you can set, budgets, you know, I wanna do
Okay.
$5 a day or whatever, so.
Okay. Anything else?
All right, well, thank you.
Thank you for talking with us and helping us, and we're here to help you.
The list is very helpful.
Thanks.
Yeah, we'll just stay in touch.
Okay, sounds great.
Next on the list is those community engagement events. I mean, how many do we want to do? Do we want a lot of structure to them? Do we want to just have one where we're just there to answer questions to individuals that walk in? I don't know what the board thinks, how we schedule the first one and see where they all go, what we do.
I think you present something with facts and then take questions.
What if we do like where Colin comes for one event, and then the next event's a Q&A? And maybe with the Q&A, you summarize what he has to say for the people that couldn't come to the first one.
Sure.
I'm just spitballing here.
I don't think Colin's that big a talker, you could do both at once.
I'd be happy to participate, whatever you guys need.
I'm fine with it. We just gotta start picking some dates. and
Yeah.
Get one or two scheduled.
I think we at least need 2 at the minimum. 3 or 4.
Thing is, you're not
because-
gonna get the same people to come. A lot of them won't come both times.
I agree, yeah.
So you want to get as much info out there with whoever you get,
Yeah,
each chance.
sure. Yeah.
Do we want to try to do something as soon as next week, or do we want to make sure we got our stuff together and scheduled for the week of the 23rd?
I think there's already questions out there. We gotta get out there. There's already questions about what's going on, so we need to get out there.
So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, what sounds good?
I'm down this week, so I won't.
I'm on my own, we're on our own. Well, like I said, I think that if we do a whole bunch of these, there's a chance that we're gonna have not everybody at every meeting.
Where do you wanna do them at? Middle school gym.
I'd say middle school gym,
Get them
but
people
that's
over
got
here.
a busy schedule right now
Yeah,
with
I
all the
know.
basketball
Yeah,
stuff,
so let's-
volleyball, I'm sure. So,
What's that looks like next week?
here comes Justin.
Next week,
Yeah.
Mondays and Wednesdays are out.
Yeah.
So that's Tuesday or Thursday evening after 5:30.
Same with elementary gym?
I don't know about the elementary.
Okay.
Tuesday's way better for me.
So next week, we were just going to be able to get our big committee meeting going. So depending on the night you have yours, we can't have ours.
What night are you having yours?
I can try for Tuesday,
We can try for Thursday?
okay?
We always have the cafeteria, you could use too, the central cafeteria, because it's already got the chairs and the tables. I don't know how many people you're thinking, but those will be open with, no setup or anything, but a lot of them can use those.
I mean, when we did the prop kids, we did a lot of those things here on campus, just to kind of get people here to see what we had and what was going on. Because there's people that don't even know we have those tents still.
There's an awful lot of room in the midway of the expo up there.
I know, I want to have one there too. I want to have one there, that's my next.
What time you wanna do this, 6 o'clock? 7?
Thursday?
June 18th at
Six.
6.
Six.
at either the middle school gym or the Learning Expo.
Doesn't matter to me.
You gotta see if that works with Colin too, though, right?
It does.
Okay.
Thank you.
Main guy over here.
Do y'all want it in the gym, or do you want it in the cafeteria, or do you want it in the Learning Expo?
Chandler says he's out of town next week.
There's no reason not to have it, it's just I will be there to help set up and decide. If you opt for the expo, Justin and me set up a whole lot of chairs on them, so.
They can bring their own lawn chair. That's how poor we are, bring your own chair.
BYOB.
You like bringing
Yeah, for the first time maybe.
They're doing something
Yeah,
at the
let's-
community center right now, some remodel.
Let's go to the, let's do it at the gym if we can. I think it'll be easier to present, there'll be a lot of bleachers there, just roll it out and everybody sit on the bleachers. Yeah.
microphones already set up. Simple.
So then do we want to try to schedule more right now, or do we want to wait and do that at the next meeting?
Maybe we learn from the 18th.
What we need to do.
Yeah.
Wait and see what Alan thinks. I think when after buildings start coming down, then I think Greg can do another.
Okay.
But we almost,
All right, so we'll just figure on next Thursday, the 18th, 6 o'clock. We'll try to put together a little presentation with some questions and answers. And in the meantime, we'll just keep feeding everything we can. Any more discussion on that? All right, let's move on to employment opportunities.
Provided you guys in the packet, I'm sure I don't see the blue link up there, but we hope to take care of quite a few of those here in closed session this evening.
The attendance report, it was presented at the May meeting. Do we need any more comments on that? Planned summer maintenance projects.
We've been asked to kind of create a list. Don't have the start of one from April, but I think we're kind of working on that. Did some work today on that, so we'll try to get to that to you. I'll just send it to you through email and keep updating it as we go.
And the financial report.
So the financial report is the similar report. Mr. Curry had asked that we do a deeper study representing the Fund 4. And so I'm thinking maybe at the very least, we can add it into this, but also I think that ASBR format is really good for you all to see, that 1, 2, and 4. So I can bring that back again. We used to do that. Just asked to shorten it up, so I took that off, but I'll put it right back on. And then we'll also see, it's included in this report, so I'll see if we can do a pull-out, so you can see it just by itself.
Fund 4 is included in this?
So if you scroll, my computer's dead. I'll look over at yours.
Absolutely, here.
So if you look at your expenditures, the capital outlay, you see that one?
Yep. Okay, I was just looking at the top, I'm thinking this says, where was I? Salaries, benefits, it'd be Fund 1, Fund 2, purchase services, Fund 1, supplies, materials, Fund 1, so. let's
Some
just-
of your supplies and materials would have 4 in it if it's anything that exceeds $5,000.
Right, wouldn't that be Fund 1 as a supplies?
If it exceeds 5,000, it has to be a Fund 4.
Okay.
So I'll see if we can do a pull-out for you.
Well, that ASBR does pretty easy too.
Okay, yeah.
We can do it ASBR, we can do it as a working budget, which is the whole year at a glance. You can track it by the year. We can also do year to date, so you can kind of see how we're tracking by the month. So So I may come up with a couple different things and send that to the whole group. And if you all will then give us some feedback on which pieces you prefer.
Any comment or concerns about the current financial report?
Make a motion to adjourn open session.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We're adjourned.